Hello. I know that, I know that he mentioned before potential to tell his story as well in conjunction with yours. So for sure, we would love that to happen.
Okay.
But yeah, is anybody else want to introduce themselves?
Hey,
Yeah,
Tom.
I'd love to,
Oh, go ahead.
if you don't mind. Yeah,
Oh.
I'd love to jump in because sadly I have another meeting I have to be at. And Toni and Carlos, I wanted to say hi to you. I've been following your story since you shared it, and we consider it a sacred story. And I work with Dave as one of the co-directors of the Truth Telling Project. And as I said, I'm really sad that I'm not going to be able to stay on, but I'm going to listen to the recording, and we so much want to stay in touch and learn about what you've been doing over the last 8 years since we heard you speak before. So I'm going to have to say hello and goodbye real quick.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks-
Nice
Thanks,
meeting you.
Amber. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Toni. Hey, Carlos. It's Dave Ryan. It's good to see you again.
You too, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for doing the work you keep doing, both of y'all. I'm following you online. Been home a whole lot lately, but always thinking about the work we were doing back in the day.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't die down so much. Like we didn't even do nothing for Rise Up October, and I was just shocked.
Yeah, everybody's went in a whole different in different directions.
Yeah, very true. Very
Right.
true.
Trying to figure out, what's next. I can't believe it'll be 10 years, since the Ferguson uprising started and Mike Brown was killed, and just all of the things that just, happened and stuff like that. So it just amazes me how time just move on so quickly.
Yes, it did.
Mm.
And everybody, we still see a lot of people, Mike and them just did a big award ceremony for all the Ferguson frontliners. He awarded our organization too as well. And like some of the community work people just been doing. So that was really good to get a chance to see everybody again. That kind of rekindled like us being a big family all over again.
I saw it online. I was like, missing everybody. And I, we working on a podcast, so I just had a chance to talk to and hear from some people. I talked to Cookie and Mama Cat and a bunch of folks. So it's been really interesting conversations happening.
You see Mama Cat, even though she doesn't live here anymore, she's still very active here. So she's like back and forth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She just did her big block party that she still do. She did that in September, and she's doing her cook-off again in December. She still does a lot of work here in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to get away. The same once you I don't know. I mean, you want to get away, but
Did Mama Cat move out of St. Louis?
I'm sorry, Amber, say that again.
I said, did Mama Cat move out of St. Louis?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Where's she living now?
Florida.
I had no idea. Good for her. She needs some rest. That's why I left. I needed some rest. I'm in New Orleans. But I'm from St. Louis originally. Well, I don't want to take up more time. Ms. Toni, we want to give you an opportunity to just share your story. And whenever, if Carlos wants to also add anything too, he can do that as well. But yeah, it's such an opportunity for you to share your story. Tell us how you got here into this work, clearly like your personal experience and the work you're doing currently, how we can support you. And then we'll ask some questions after you share. But you have, as much time as you would like.
Okay. Well, thank you once again for having me on. My name is Toni Taylor. I'm born and raised here in St. Louis, Missouri. In April 24th, 2013, I suffered the tragedy of losing my firstborn son at the hands of police brutality. Kerry Ball Jr. After surrendering to police, Kerry was still shot a total of 21 times, leaving 25 wounds into his body because 4 of them was entry and exit wounds. A year later, Mike Brown was murdered. The uprising started. That increased our struggle because I protested in the beginning, but I didn't receive that much community attention. So when the uprising occurred for Mike Brown, I thought that was like go time. So that's why we was able to go out there, build family with them, build community with the protesters. Everybody came from around the world. It didn't matter if you stayed in St. Louis City or county. And we was just out there standing for our rights. So then it took me some time to I had to go back 2 years later in 2015, a little after I spoke at the first truth telling event. I had to regroup myself and see that I hadn't even grieved the loss of Kerry, that I just went straight into fight mode. So once after getting myself together, I established an organization in honor of his name, which is the Kerry on the Ball organization here in St. Louis, Missouri. We provide resources to trauma-impacted children. We are coming up on our 3rd annual pajama and undergarment giveaway. We partner with, Toys for Tot donate to us. We give back pajamas, undergarments, toys. We provide them with different resources like Annie's Hope, which is a grief center for children. We bring in community crime prevention, to have resources available to combat against some of this bullying that's going on here in all of these schools and around the world, period. So for the last, I say 5 years, we've been doing the community work because like I said, I took 2 years off to get my own self together so I can be able to do this type of work. And basically to me, it's like I'm following in Kerry's footsteps because Kerry was an honor roll student at St. Louis Forest Park Community College, majoring in human services, and he wanted to start his own organization, but he wanted to work with ex-offenders and elderly abuse. Well, I knew I wasn't strong enough to do ex-offenders, and I thought that since it was children outside the night that this happened to Kerry and seen it, they was traumatized. So that's where that idea came with, to work with trauma-impacted children. So it's basically, like I said, I'm following in Kerry's footsteps. That's why I call it Kerry on the Ball, because I'm carrying the ball for him, me, my family, all of us that's on the board. And we've been doing a terrific job. Through donations, we've been able to give out book bags, have school drives. Actually, Mama Cat has donated to my school giveaway last year, and she donated to my pajama giveaway last year as well, with like supplies that she had left over from different events she had did, which is awesome because like I said, once we all connected and met out there in Ferguson, we instantly became a family. We had to stand up and protect one another. It gave me strength. In 2020, after George Floyd was murdered, I was reached out to by Mass Action Against Police Brutality and Take a Knee Nation. I had protested with them in previous years. We actually, through Take a Knee Nation, I protested the Super Bowl in Minnesota in honor of Colin Kaepernick. And that was really educational. So those power building skills led me to see that I can do more here in St. Louis. And like I said, in 2020, when George Floyd was murdered, and they reached out to me, they asked me to help them organize a Mother's March. Well, a Mother's March was successful. We ended up with like 136 moms from around the world that came together, and the march was in Minnesota, where George Floyd's life was taken. And I couldn't believe that we all came together from around the world. All I did from St. Louis was like a lot of power building. I held a press conference. I fought against them so bad at doing that press conference, but all the time I was learning organizing skills. I felt like once they gave that to me and instilled that organizing and build inside of me, I was strong enough to be able to like work with the St. Louis family. So we launched a program called Fatal State Violence here in St. Louis. Some local St. Louis families up under the leadership of Faith for Justice and Arch City Defenders. And they help us where we have a response team where we go out to each fatality shooting from police here in St. Louis. We have monthly meetings for healing dinners for all the St. Louis families. we have a hotline. Say for instance, if somebody was shot and right now at this moment, the hotline will ring. It goes to all of us. Whoever is on duty at that time gets that call. We take shifts. This is coming up on our third cohort. We launched that November of 2021. So starting this month, this will be our third cohort. I'm not going to be a first responder this time around. I will be a policy advocate because I feel like we need some policy changes. This year here in St. Louis, we was able to get the mayor to sign an executive order in June to ban no-knock warrants in the city of St. Louis. She also signed an oversight accountability bill for the police, but a judge filed the injunction. So I feel like if we was able to push that far and get state legislation, county legislation, city legislation on board with us with what we're trying to do, I know that we can push this further, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to do with the third cohort.
Wow,
So I'm just continuing to work.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing with us and yeah, just sharing the work that you've continued to do and like lead. I wanted to know if your son Carlos wants to say anything or add anything to what you've already contributed.
Oh, jump in there.
Well, I know you mentioned before he was like interested in talking. I said, yeah, for sure, we'd love to hear. Carlos, do you have anything you want to say? Oh, I don't know if it was on accident on purpose. He's not here right now. It's okay. We'll come back.
He's coming. Here he come. Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna get on this
y'all in
phone.
the same house.
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah,
same
we're in the
room.
same house, so I just logged off on my Zoom. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Carl.
So I have to. Good to see everybody this evening. My mom pretty much hit everything on the head, but just to piggyback off of pretty much everything she said, since the very first time we all got together out there, during the Ferguson uprisings, to the first truth telling project, the one that really stands out a lot to me with Dave was the one we did at St. Mark's Church, the one we had with all the siblings when they came from around the country. And I remember Andrew Joseph's sister spoke, and many other siblings. So since that, that time, of course, we have started the organization, the Carry on the Ball organization. And like Mom said, we just do a lot of work in the community, working with the children. I'm a part of the FSV team, part of the FSV response team. This will be my second cohort. So I'll continue to stay on the board with the being able to be a first responder whenever anything happens. And I always think, and I really love with the collaboration between our city and Faith for Justice, how they allow impacted families to be a part of that, because no one knows more than the person who has experienced it firsthand. So being able to be that type of resource for people in the community is a big deal, because we know that we're in for a long fight. We have been for the last 8 to 10 years, and we're going to keep on fighting the good fight, because we have to do this for the children that are coming up in the world, especially in our city, because things aren't changing a whole lot, but we can see the small parts in which they are changing. And that's the reason for us to continue to do what we do. So we want to make sure that we connect the children in our community to those resources, because we know how important that is for their upbringing. So I continue to do that work. And then even with my 9 to 5 work that I do, I'm the program coordinator for the City of St. Louis Youth Build program. So that program is geared towards helping young adults ages 17 to 24 obtain their high school equivalency, as well as a certification in carpentry. And so if we get them as young as 17 for my program, but I feel like with our nonprofit organization, we work with children that are a little younger. If we can get our hands on them then, it'll be a little bit easier to, work with them and instill certain things. And I really love the fact that my mom is moving on to the policy part of the FSV, Fatal State Violence, because having Mayor Jones sign those 2 executive orders were very big. even though one of the judges signed off on, lets you know that the work we're doing is actually making a difference. So we just want to continue to do that and continue to just be a pillar in our community and be an advocate and a resource to our community, and just basically pretty much turn all of that pain that we've experienced over the years into some type of purpose, just so we can minimize this happening to other families. And like you said, just continue to stay connected to everybody who came out of the movement. I heard you, Dave, when you said a lot of people were in just a lot of different directions. That are true. A lot of people went into, policy and law and took office and different things of that nature. Like some of us stayed grassroots and did community work, and so many great things have grown from that uprising. And so, like my mom said, in those times we are able to get all together and be back. We just could come back together and be a collective. It shows all the work that we are out here doing in the many different facets that we're making some type of difference.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mia Gonzalez. I'm actually just west of you in Kansas City, and I don't know if you've heard a little bit what's going on, but our former chief of police is being sued, and also civil court and criminal court for sexually harassing Black women. So I was wondering, do you guys have any collaboration that we could join, or anything going on in KC, because we're your neighbor, next big city?
How you doing?
Good, hi.
Good. Are you connected with the Justice Network there? You said Kansas City, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know Justice?
No, I don't know them. I know the Kansas City Defenders group, so I'm kind of with them a little bit, but I'll check out that other group. I haven't heard of them.
Yes, the Justice Network, and I'll send some information. I'll give it to Amber to send to you and a connect.
That would be great. Thank you so much. That would be great. And then I promise I won't take over too much more time, but your no knock order, that is impressive to get that overturned and changed. So I was wondering, how long was that process, and what kind of barriers did you have to overcome?
Well, the no knock one we did that was able to pass. That was able to pass. It's the Oversight Accountability Bill, which is Board Bill 47 here in the Senate right now, that was overturned. That one is still being fought for. And she signed that one in August. Now, the barriers that we ran into, of course, we had to go through the Board of Aldermen, and we had a lot of naysayers, but we were strategic with it. We sat down and we took certain one-on-one meetings with a lot of state reps, Democrats and Republicans, and we let the Republican state reps tell us the next Republican state rep to get on our team. So we had a lot of one-on-one meetings, secretly though, because you can't let the people know that you're out here meeting with them, because you need them for your advantage. You're trying to get them to sign on to something you need their help with.
Exactly. Wonderful. That's just so impressive. I do a lot of things with truth telling, but one of the things is social media. So I was part of the team with Amber, getting to read over and research everything that you have done. So thank you for just doing what you do. I really, from the bottom of my heart, it's an inspiration. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now, what is just to follow up on the first question that me asked, what's the Justice Network in KC? What is their work?
Some of their work is policy, as well as the FSB work like we doing. Like they didn't came down here and participated in some of our FSB meetings, so they can train and strategize and get some of the policies changed in KC. We also met Ryan Stokes' family. Are you connected with them in Kansas City? And we supported them when they came to trial here last year. He needed to.
No, I'm not. These are things I definitely want to get connected with. I've only lived here 3 years, but I've been getting involved with a lot of things. But anything you can send to Amber, I'm going to connect with them. I really appreciate it.
No problem. They all have came and participated in a lot of our trainings, because with the FSB, each cohort, we have at least 3 to 4 days of training, and we do police involved incident simulations.
Oh, wow.
Can
Yeah.
I ask about that? Like how, like the response network and the number, like how many people usually do you have on call? And do you like go out in teams together? And like, what's the response from the police when you get there, you know?
Well, we do go out in teams. It have to be at least 2 of us, a captain and a support. And once we get on the scene, we immediately do a people's investigation where we start talking to the crowd. Say, for instance, it's a building, they got cameras. We go to them first, ask them to give us the footage before they release it to the police. We give them their rights that they don't have to release it to the police. We also tell them to make sure they take names, badge numbers, and everything when they do turn that footage over to the police. We take a lot of statements. We come back and we put all of that data into our data system that we got. It's a calendar that where we signed up. Like, say, for instance, I might be on shift today as captain. So if something happened, I have to show up because I'm on as captain. The support person doesn't, they can always rotate, but the captain has to be on duty. The police hasn't given us a problem too bad when we show up to the scene, other than they try to tell people don't talk to us, of course. Let me see what else. When we get out there, we got materials. We have a brochure. It's some things I can share with you. One brochure, we keep that strictly for police involved families, but we have a hotline number that we share with people. We have a brochure letting them know the things that we offer, like we offer ongoing support. We help them with funeral arrangements, as far as like finding them a funeral home that will work with them if they don't have life insurance. We take them food. We just build strong support system to the help with a repast to the family after the shooting, and we build a connection to them with them because we invite them out to our monthly meetings. The monthly meetings at the 6 o'clock hour is strictly for the impacted families only, and we have a healing session which is led by either a clinician or Michelle Higgins. Are you familiar with Michelle Higgins? Yes, Michelle Higgins is back this with us. She's a part of Faith for Justice. Yes. Wow. She leads a lot of our healing sessions and does great work with the impacted families. Yes.
I used to work with Faith for Justice. I used to work.
Hey. So do you know Andrew?
I know everybody. Anybody that's associated with, I know all of them. I used to.
Well, they are the ones.
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis originally, so I was there like a year. I moved away for school, moved back a year after Mike Brown, and then I moved away 2 years ago to New Orleans. I'm in New Orleans now, but I've been working, I worked with a lot of different on the ground orgs while I was there. So one of them Faith for Justice, yeah.
So just yesterday, we had a police standoff that was well over 8 hours. Oh, wow. It was a SWAT standoff over in South City on Giles and Chippewa. It ended peacefully at 8 o'clock last night. The news reported another mental ill man had a gun and shot his neighbor. And as we all just found out from that bad school shooting, that this is a no red flag state, so they can't take these mental illness people guns. That person was just recently called on too, stating that he had a gun. Well, the police went to his house a couple of days prior to yesterday before him shooting his neighbor, asked him if he had a gun, and he closed the door in their face. So that's why I chose to do policy advocate this time, because we need laws in place that's going to protect us all. Because if you know that you got somebody that's mentally ill, there's no way that they still should be able to go and purchase a gun under these Missouri laws we have right now. Mm-hmm.
I had a question about, I know Carlos mentioned you all do different like trainings with kids and like I guess you said carpentry. I'm not sure, I missed the other ones, but like how do you all, are these kids that are impacted, or where do you all like recruit from for those things?
No, whom we recruit from have been impacted by some type of trauma, because you remember the year that we had all of those little kids that got shot. So a lot of them, the parents was like connected to us through just resources or word of mouth. A lot of them did seen some type of trauma in their life, whether it was one of their friends getting shot or a relative or something like that. So basically word of mouth is how we get connected to them. And then with the different events that we then hosted in the community, when we give out the information about what we're doing, and also off our social media platform, which is Carry on the Ball Inc. on Facebook. We don't have a website yet, but we're working on that. But yeah, a lot of them are referred to us.
Okay. And are there specific ages y'all work with?
Yes, newborn till age 16. We don't, we say, well, with the pajamas, that's what we do. But with the programs that we do, we try to stay at 5 years old to 16.
Okay.
And right now we're working on partnering with other organizations like Black Girls Do STEM. We getting connected with them so we can start hosting some events to get the young ladies registered for that. Of course, that's a wait list right now, but that's fine. Partnering up with Operation Food Search to try to start getting the young ladies some food boxes donated in on a regular basis. So we're doing a lot of partnership and collaborations. We collaborated with a foundation during the pandemic and was able to provide coats that particular giveaway along with our pajama giveaway. And we were like one of the first organizations to start giving out kid PPE gear in the pandemic year.
It's huge. Anybody else have any questions that they want to ask or anything they want to?
Well, I mean, I do want to share, Carrie and Toni, do you think you could drop your, so in addition, we're gonna offer you, or we're sending you a award or gift for your work. That's for whatever you want to use it for. But we also, on here, we encourage people to donate personally to have a what do you call it, a Venmo or Cash App, if you can put that right now.
Okay, the PayPal. Okay.
Throughout the whole month, we'll be resharing this video and encouraging people to support you as well directly.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for this work. And we started doing it, in Ferguson because Ferguson activists weren't being supported. And we initially started a thing called Support an Activist.
That's very true.
And I saw Aurora with her hand up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aurora from Detroit. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, how you doing? I just wanted to commend you on your work. And
I'm fine, and thank you.
I was just thinking about how we in Detroit, we have a coalition for police transparency and accountability. And we're a group of concerned citizens that address a lot of the, many of the police killings and things here in Detroit. And we particularly worked on a case for Hakeem Littleton, who was murdered by the police. And the police were not very transparent in reporting what happened. And we had to file several Freedom of Information Act papers to get them to release their body cam footage. And we finally was able to get the footage, which showed that, in spite of what the police said, in spite of what the coroner said, that he had not been shot in the back of his head, we could clearly see it on the tape that one of the officers did kind of jump over the other officer and point his gun at the back of the head. But, we filed several lawsuits. I just wanted to let you know, we also made a video with a narrative about it because we had several protests, large protests here. And when the first footage came out from the police, it came out on the anniversary of the Detroit Rebellion in 1967. So we were responding to that as well, you know, because we had civil unrest here, people rebelling against police brutality and things like that. So I just found the video. It's graphic, but it'll give you an idea of how we put together the video. Dr. Gloria House, who's one of our lead activists here, and she was in the civil rights movement, does the narrative. So what we were trying to do was counter the public's negative viewpoints against, you know, that were in support of the police. You know, they didn't understand what was going on. They kept saying, well, you know, he was a drug dealer, whatever. He deserved to be shot, you know. And we were like, if you have and he had a gun in his hand, right? He did shoot at the police and missed. But they did wrestle him to the ground. He was face down, unarmed.
Wow.
So our thing was, yeah, he had a weapon, he shot at the police, but he was laying face down, unarmed, and that did not give anyone the right to execute him in the way that they did. If you know, if, with all due permission, I'd like to put the video into the link. And I just want to warn folks, you know, it is graphic, you know.
Okay.
It does show, instead of like 2 or 3 police officers, there was a line police officers walking towards the victim. We also had a public tribunal here. That's one of the things that we do at our historical Shrine of the Black Madonna Church. We've been doing this since the 1960s, you know, have a public tribunal and things like that. And in spite of, you know, all of our efforts, they did not charge the police with murder or anything like that. But we developed a grassroots way of dealing with the problem ourselves, making our own videos, informing the public and circulating it, getting it out, and getting, you know, people to sign on petition in support of our efforts here. Okay.
Oh,
But
that's great work.
thank you so much. You know, I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Now, are you familiar with with Post?
No.
Post is Protect Our Stolen Treasures. That's in Detroit, Michigan. The lady name is Yolanda McNair, and her mother was Adacia Miller.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Her daughter was killed by an off-duty police officer at his home.
Okay, I'll look them up because we were working on so many different ones. One of the first ones that we did with the Coalition Against Police Brutality was, I can't think of the girl's name. It was a little girl, and I can't think of her name. She was killed by police by a flash bomb in her house. I don't know. It's got to be about.
Oh no, who you talking about? Ayanna Stanley Jones.
Ayanna Stanley
Ayanna.
Jones. That's right. Thank you. Y'all have to excuse me. I had COVID and I have like COVID brain, so I can't like remember a lot of stuff. But thank you so much. Yeah, it was Ayanna Stanley Jones. That was one of the bigger, you know, cases that we started on. But you know, our team has grown into, you know, we have several grassroots attorneys that are working with us, you know. Anybody who gets arrested, you know, we have a team of attorneys here that will help them. We have bail system, you know, in place from the community to bail folks out and things like that.
That's awesome. Yes, great work. Yes, please connect with Post. Look them up. Adacia Miller was her daughter's name, and the lady name is Yolanda McNair. Both of them are in Detroit, Michigan. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm writing that down. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was just in Detroit last year.
Oh, okay.
Detroit is beautiful. I didn't know you guys had an aisle that sits right in the middle of the city where you could just wake up and go outside and say, I'm going to visit the aisle today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've been fighting. Yeah, we've been fighting a whole lot here in Detroit the past, I don't know, 20 years, you know, from the bank fabricated bankruptcy, the takeover of the island, you know, that was the people's island, and they turned it over to the state. So whatever, you know, assets the city had, they basically took them over, gentrified a lot of places. We're still fighting gentrification. and you know, just the shifting of tax dollars to support these outside entities and gentrifiers coming in and building up the downtown portion of Detroit, but not really funding out into the neighborhoods where it's really needed. So that's an ongoing, you know, struggle that we have here, along with the water situation and things like that. Yeah.
I was educated a lot last year on your water situation though. I was, cause I came to visit Yolanda and I know another mom that lives there too. I got a chance to connect with, Mildred, Ayana's grandmother. Me and her
Oh, yeah,
became
yeah.
very good friends. We really did. I was saddened when we lost her. And, Kimberly Davis, that's, Kamani Davis, mother. Are you familiar
Okay.
with that story?
No.
Kamani Davis. He was killed in Ohio, but his family is from Detroit, Michigan.
Mm.
So
Wow.
last year, Yolanda had an event for her daughter, and Ayana's family came out really big. They all try to support one another up there. So it was great to be amongst all of that. Me and a couple of more moms came from out of town to support her.
That's good. Yeah, you know, well, thank you for that information. I'll look them up.
Tony, you and Aurora might want to connect. Aurora is one of the founders of We the People of Detroit, and they one of the groups that that responded to the water crisis first and put out the reports and water testing kits for people, and also collecting water as well.
Oh, yes, please share my information, my contact information with everybody. I
Okay,
appreciate that.
I'm gonna put my info in the chat.
Okay.
And hey, Tony, my name is Eric. Hey, I'm Eric Kayura. I am actually here in St. Louis. Very, very happy to learn about all of your work, and am very proud of all the work you've done. I had the joy of going to college with Tashara. We both went to Hampton University together, and I know you have an ally there in the mayor's office, and
Yes.
I need to find a way to be more active myself. So thank you so much. Amazing work.
Thank you. Well, get in touch with me. I can connect you to some people with the FSB program, even if you do something else different and help us like on some of the one-on-ones, because we're going bigger this time. We're taking this to Jeff City to try to get some take this to state, not just local laws, because everything that we've been working on was just local. City.
Yeah, no, that's great.
City, state.
Before I started my work in my profession, I was a professional speechwriter. I was the chief speechwriter for Governor Mel Carnahan. And and lived up there in Jeff City for a while and kind of learned some of the ropes of the Capitol. So there may be some way I might be able to be supportive on the policy side.
Sounds good. Thank you. That would be wonderful. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. We have time for a couple more questions before we close out. Anybody has any else thing that they want to bring into the conversation while folks are thinking? Tony, so I see the links to Amazon for the pajamas, and I see y'all's Venmo Cash App. Is there what other ways, can we be supporting you all? Other tangible ways, or even just like digital, like what ways can we be supporting the work that you're doing? What are y'all's needs right now? Because we're gonna basically, like Dave said, we're gonna continue to uplift this all month, and we'd love to hear that.
Right now with the pajama giveaway, because like I said, we do pajamas and undergarments, and we kind of got quite a few kids registered this year. We surpassed last year, our goal was 80. We surpassed that with 116.
Wow.
This year we are at 175 children.
Wow.
Yes. So
that are 175 that we want to give pajamas to. Like you said, that 175 children that are in need of, or 175
in need of pajamas. No, 175 children are in need of pajamas and undergarments. Yes, and we also have a Target registry up too as well. I don't think Carlos put that in the link, but I'm gonna try to see if I can put that in the link too as well in the chat as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I grabbed the other ones, the other links. So you want to put that in and
I was gonna see if I can drop it in. I know I have to copy it though. Let's see. I know these registries work really well during the holidays because the gifts can come just straight to your house. So that's very convenient for a lot of people. I like that better.
Aurora, it looks like that one, the first video, they may have been taking it down because it's graphic. It's not on YouTube. It says it's taken down. Just FYI. I just clicked on it and it said it was I guess because of the graphic nature.
Oh, because I'm looking at it and it's saying that the following content has been identified as inappropriate or offensive to, oh, okay. So, and it has a thing on here that says, I understand and wish to proceed.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, if you click the I understand and wish to proceed, the video and the narration will start.
Oh, you know what? It didn't load all the way. I was like, it did for me, but I see it. Okay, now I see it.
Yeah, yeah. Because, you know, when we put this up, it was like during the protests of, you know, the murder of George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter protests here, all kinds of stuff was going on here in Detroit that year. And it was like we were all out in different factions, just, you know, protesting and having what do you call it, news press conferences with the local news stations and things like that, you know, to get word out.
I'm gonna watch that video. I didn't see some gruesome videos. I think I should be able to handle it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's kind of like grainy footage a little bit because it's coming off of the police body cams that we, you know, got the footage that they hid, right? Because the first news report, they only showed like one of the videos, but we were like, you know, I mean, I have friends that were on the scene, right? That called me and told me they were going to the scene. And they were, you know, letting me know that, you know, it's not just one or two police over here. It's a lot of them, you know. And so, you know, when he got killed and then everybody went to the west side, they went from all the way downtown Detroit and drove all the way to the west side, you know, to the scene and stuff. And people were, you know, documenting and taking notes. So we already knew that what the police chief has shown us was not the truth, you know, all the body cam videos. So, you know, with our team of attorneys, we were able to get that all of the footage off of those body cams and piece together the video that shows the entire story of how he was murdered.
We just had an incident similar like that. I think right at the end of August, beginning of September, right at the beginning of September, it was the day that the accountability bill, it was September the 7th, because that's the day the accountability bill would have been implemented here if it wouldn't have been turned over by the judge. They killed two people. They did not a no-knock, but they tear gassed him out first. And when he didn't come out, they went in and shot him. It was a Somalian refugee. So he didn't speak English. One of the other Somalians asked to go in there and speak to him and try to get him out. They wouldn't give us that footage. Not even the landlord, the property owners. They wouldn't turn that footage over of that shooting. But they did just turn over another shooting because on September the 16th, they killed a 15-year-old little boy here. And that footage didn't have a choice but to come out because they had up one of those police cam stations that, you know, they like sit in the street with the 4-way cameras on it. So they had to release that footage. And it clearly shows, yes, the little boy did have a gun, but the gun fell and was away from his body. The little boy even fell. I feel like as close as they were to him, they could have snatched him. I feel like they could have kicked him and said, you know, like your little bad butt, you know what I'm saying? Instead of having to just shoot him because he was already down. He wasn't moving anymore, and they still shot him. Then some more people came and shot him. You can tell that there's other police that's shooting too, because in the footage, even though it's grainy, like you said, you still see a very fast fire or something short go by. So you can see that it's some other officers still shooting. He down. The other officers didn't even put their guns down. It's still bullets flying though.
Right.
Nothing has
Yeah.
happened so far.
And
Nothing has happened.
we have a trial going on now of a former Michigan police officer who shot a man from the Congo, Patrick Loyola. He up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that same situation. He was like on a traffic stop, but then the guy didn't understand what was going on. You know, he's an African immigrant, and he ended up face down and being shot in the back of the head too. You know. So, yeah, but that guy's the police officer is going, he's on trial now. He's facing a murder trial.
Well, that's good. That's good. I hope that they win. I hope the people win. His family fighting, or is it?
Oh yeah, because you know his family, you know, they're from the Congo in Africa, and he was just stopped on a regular traffic stop, and he didn't understand what was going on, and so he I guess knew that if you get stopped by a cop or something, he was fearing for his life, so he ran. But then the guy caught him, and then he was had the police had him down, and while he was saying, you know, please, you know, stop or whatever, he just pulled out his gun and shot him in the head. He didn't understand what was happening to him. You know, so.
Aurora, I just read a question from David in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt you. No, David, there's no updates. The last thing that we did in the Carrie's case was we had a one-on-one and requested that Kim Gardner reopen Carrie's case starting with the 911 tapes. Well, she took it to the FBI because, you know, at the time, Chief Dawson had called in the FBI. Well, the FBI would not give her the tapes. And they even told her to close Carrie's case. And they asked her, why did she even want to investigate his case?
Yeah, see that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I mean, that's a stupid question. Why would you want to investigate it? That's stupid.
And that was all in June of 2019. But of course, I'm still fighting. But you know, the pressures that Kim was under from 2020 till now, she's just getting off from under all of that pressure, because now it's getting tossed around at Tashara and Corey and everybody. They got a mixture of everybody to give some pressure too. So within that accountability bill, though, it would have been an integrity unit in Kim Gardner's office that could have allowed her to not only reopen up Carrie's case, but to do independent investigations into the police shootings without no control from the police. So that's another reason why it's being overturned, because in that accountability bill, it took a lot of power out of the police officer's hand and gave it to our circuit attorney's office. It also came with a civilian oversight review board, not just for police shootings, but also for jail deaths and in custody injuries. Like, it had a lot that would have protected the people. So what the police are using against that bill is police bill of rights. They saying that Senate Bill 47 goes against their police bill of rights. So that's what my first thing, what I'm going to start working on, is connecting with other states that have won something with the police bill of rights against that type of law. I found out so far that Baltimore, Maryland is one of the states that did an overturn on police bill of rights. So that was good to know. and some, oh, they also, here in Missouri, we found out too, after the death of George Floyd, St. Louis, Missouri implemented not only a police bill of rights, but they implemented a law enforcement bill of rights. So we're gonna have to fight up against two different bill of rights for the police.
Wow. Well, I just want to congratulate you again for your work, Toni, and honor the work that you're doing and your story and all the stories of our brothers and sisters and cousins and aunties and uncles. And just, you know, we wanted to do this, and we do this because we want to be here for our community in any way we can. And we're really looking for ways to partner. And I just want to close us out with just prayers and asking the Creator and our ancestors to protect us. We come this far by faith. We are not meant to be left here in this space, being hunted. And I just want to pray for healing, for you, for me, for all of us here who are encountering and struggling against police violence, and ask for support from the Creator and our ancestors.
Shame.
Ashe.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Toni. Love you, Carlos.
You too, baby.
It's so good to
Love
see
you
you.
too.
Well, good to see everybody.
And stay
Toni, I'm
strong.
sending you
And-
something right now on your Cash App.
Okay, thank you.
And
You
we'll be
are-
posting this
Yep.
throughout the month. And, you know, when you see it posted, feel free to share it, you know, because we need to be given our chips while we're here and acknowledge for the good things that we're doing. And I'm really proud to know you and to have organized with you and be connected with you both.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you, Amber. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Thanks for everyone for joining. We'll see you guys next month.
All right.
All right, have a
Take
good
care.
evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.